Hey everybody, Brian Foote here to talk about hedging. I got a great question the other day from an investor who asked me the following. How is a portfolio hedged at this moment? And I wanted to explain to you and to him in a very basic way that every stock or every position, long or short, in your portfolio should operate independently. In other words, I believe that you should value your businesses, long and short, from the bottoms up, take them in isolation, and then see in a mathematical way how they work together. In other words, let's say you're long a position in a company that manufactures steel products. One of the most explicit ways to hedge that position against some kind of a macroeconomic effect would be to short steel, right? To go out in the market and say, I don't know anything about the future of steel prices, but I do believe this company is valued based on some assumption I've made for steel that warrants that I buy the stock. The stock itself is cheap, but I want to lock in a price of steel, right? That's a simplistic way of hedging. And obviously with companies that are more complicated than single product companies, you can not necessarily find a direct hedge, right? If you're a gold producer, if you're any kind of commodity producer, let's say, and you want to create a natural hedge, well, of course, you sell the right to someone else to buy the commodity or the product at a fixed price, right? Farmers do this with their crops, and they also do it the other way by buying fertilizer. They lock in future prices of fertilizer. So that's a way that you think about it from a commodities perspective. But let's think about it from a stock perspective. You've got a portfolio that consists of a dozen or so carefully selected stocks. You're worried about the overall overvaluation of the stock market. This happens quite a bit, right? People do pay up for the stock market, the S&P 500. You're rendering an opinion about the overvaluation of the stock market and the undervaluation of the businesses you own. One way to express that, or in other words, to protect yourself from the risk that the stock market goes down and brings your individual portfolio companies with it, at least in the short run, is to buy puts on an index. This starts to get you into a little bit more complicated thinking, but if you think it through, it's just slightly more complicated than the commodities example, but it is something which is easy to execute. Not for everyone, and we should talk about it together or talk about it with an advisor. Again, this is not explicit investment advice. My opinions can change, but the most explicit way to go out there and create a protective situation with a portfolio is to look at the overall index and buy puts on it. The size, the timing, the way that you layer that on, well, that's the art of portfolio management. So that's what we look at in depth in the class that I'll be offering, in the classes that I'm offering right now, in the coaching sessions. And of course, if you stick with us on this YouTube channel, you get some free advice. But again, talk to me or talk to any consultant out there if you have any questions. Thanks.